0% interest for 12 to 18 months without having to show tax returns, without having to show, a whole lot of stuff that you might have thought that you had to. So I am going to that this morning. I'm going to see who is on and live this morning. What's up? Good morning, everybody. Let's get going into this information. This is for whoever is here to receive it. If you're here to receive it, then this time is for you, because I get every chance that I take every chance that I can get to be able to share this with you, because it is so powerful and so valuable and so accessible to everybody. And most people are just a few steps away from getting access to this, just a few steps away. So I need to know that I'm doing my best to be able to share this share this with you, and that you can push your life forward, right? So I'm gonna jump into this. I'm Kyle Alexander, and I've been in this entrepreneurial space for the past 4 years and getting into real estate and getting into personal development and coaching. And a lot of this journey, I found out about business credit, and I figured out that, you can you can access leverage the bank's money. And I learned about business credit stacking, where you don't have to be in business forever. You don't have to show tax returns. You don't have to prove your business revenue and things like that. You can be able to get funds that you can use to push your business forward. And I just dug into it, and I understood and finally figured out that there's a formula to it. And once you know the formula, then you're solid, right? So I worked through it, pushed through it, and eventually, when I got to the point that I started getting it as a client and started getting it as a business owner, and between my wife and myself, we got over $250,000 each, all right, that we could use towards our dual LLC strategy that we had, where we could basically leverage these funds towards pretty much anything: investment, mentorship groups, education. And I've gotten so much exposure just from this. So I want to share this blueprint with you, because once you have the blueprint, then you can get it, right? And this is why this is so powerful. It's not like you have to you don't have to wait. There's a lot of red tape that's not there. Like I said, you do not have to submit tax returns or proof of business. There's a lot of people just don't know, hey, I can access 50K, I can access 100K, 130K. On average, our clients that are coming through are getting 130,000 on average just in the first 30 days, right? And then you can rinse and repeat that over and over and over. So please share this with somebody. If you're here this morning, good morning. Get a pen, get this work and get this information before you get off for your day. I'm going to try to go through it as quickly as possible, and I want you to ask your questions in the chat, right? Put your questions in the chat so I can answer them. I've paid a lot of money for this info, and I want you to be able to take advantage of it, right? To access it. So let's jump into it. So here we go. So the crux is, you need to have two critical things in order to access 50K, 100K, 150K, 130K, 80K, right? In the next 30 days, two pillars. Number one is your personal credit profile. Needs to be structured in a certain way that the banks like to see it. Your personal credit profile. We're leveraging that to get in the door. Number two is our business entity structure. That means our business entity, LLC, corporation, whatever you have, it needs to be structured in a way that the banks like to see it. Yo, what's up? Saint Evanson, let's connect. 1000%. Yeah, for sure. Hit me up. Now, speaking of connecting, you can DM me, right? You can text me at 240-240-642. You can text me if you want. I will be able to send you the link, the direct link, because the main thing you can do, if you don't do anything else, all right, if you don't do anything else, you need to book a free consultation call with the team, right? And this is going to be value for you, no matter how you slice it, right? You're gonna walk away with value. You're gonna walk away with enlightenment, information, awareness about your next step, whether that's in your credit or whether that's in your business entity, or whether you're just ready to go for funding, right? You guys, please share this with somebody. Like I said, we're going to be on for a short time, and put your questions in the chat. Like what is it? How can I possibly get, is this going to hold me back? What about this thing that I heard? What about this rumor? What about this myth? What type of business credit? Are you sure? I'm telling you, the answers are most likely yes. I'm sure that you can access in one way or another, leverage this information, right? And there's a lot of ways you can leverage this, and you can use these funds for business credit that do not impact your personal credit, right? I can't stress this enough. This is one of the most powerful points of business credit, is that it does not impact your personal credit, right? So Flag Sports Network says, so after LLC, what would be your next step? Right, boom. So after the LLC, now the LLC needs to be set up in a certain way, right? And we're going to go through that, right? And I can go straight through that. Flag Sports Network, I can go straight through that if you want me to, right? Because it needs to be set up in a certain way, so that the way that the banks like to see it, right? So if you're saying you started your LLC already, I would just go through this checklist that I'm about to share, and I'll just since we're here, I'm gonna just go straight into it, right? So and then the other side of it is your personal credit profile. That's the next step as well. So we need to check. The next step is really to book a call with the team, because we're going to walk you through all of this to say what exactly is in your credit profile, what exactly is your LLC setup like, and is that combination ready to get you that funding? Or if you're doing any different type of business, right? Or if you've been in business for a while, right? Or you got tax returns, or you've been showing revenue for 6 to 12 months, you got 10 to 15,000 per month. If you have all that stuff, then there's other products we can connect you with, right? Lines of credit, different types of unsecured loans, equipment financing, vehicle financing, SBA loans. We can help with all of that across the board, right? But the reason I'm sharing this is because this is hyper accessible to anybody that has this formula, right? So you watching right now could literally be sitting on $100,000 that you could be using for your business at 0% interest that does not report to your personal credit, right? So let me just explain that real quick. Why is this so important? Is because if I have a $25,000 business card, right, and I use $25,000 of it, my utilization is all the way up. Somebody tell me what happens if I use $25,000 of your credit card. What happens to my credit score, right? Typically, right? Your score is typically going to tank, right? Flag Sports, thanks for the follow, right? Eniola Francian store. Eniola African store. Let's go. Yeah, thanks for the follow. Yep. Financion Impresial. Thanks for the follow. All right. So again, the reason this is so powerful, you guys, is I have that 25,000. I'm using 25,000 on my business credit card. Guess what happens to my personal credit? Absolutely nothing. Score stays intact. How do I know? Like I just said, over the course of the last 4 years and studying this information, being a client, being a mentee, and helping people with it as well, we've between my wife and myself, we've obtained over $500,000 in business credit that we could use for pretty much everything. And since that beginning of that, there has been some things that have gone very well, some things that have gone not so well. Yep. So that means that there are balances on some of these cards, right? And the last time I looked at my personal credit score is literally at 850, 847, 843, and things like that. Yep, same range with my wife. And that's because through everything has been on the business side and hasn't been impacting our personal credit, right? So this is the power of this. So this is the blueprint. Flag Sports Network, I'm going to go in with you. I want you to ask your questions. Which one do you want to know? Do you want to know the steps to the LLC first, or do you need to know the personal credit profile, right? They're both important. I would say the personal credit profile is probably more important, because we can help set up the LLC. Like I said, we can guide. If you go to fundingmyfuture.net, we can guide you through the exact steps that it's going to take to get you set up for that. And that you're removing all the guesswork out. That's the best way that I can say, or at least the fastest way that I can say, is to make sure you book a consultation call, a free consultation call, fundingmyfuture.net, or you can hit the link in my bio, or you can text me at 240-240-6402. Send me a DM, whatever the case, right? But get signed up for that call. Like I said, if you have a short time this morning, and speaking of which, I'm on here. I get on here whenever I can to be able to share this information, because it is so powerful. However, this will end as soon as my daughter is sleeping upstairs. Yep, my daughter is sleeping upstairs. So as soon as she wakes up and it's go time for the morning, this call will end. So I'm gonna give as much game as I can in this time. I want you guys to ask as many questions as you can in this time, because this is your time right now. I'm usually not on it at this time. So please take advantage of this. Like I said, I paid a lot of money for this information, and I want to share as much of it as I can for free with you guys. So yep. So Devon Furlong, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Wi-Fi Dad, appreciate the follow. Yep. Jay Crenshaw, what's up? Thanks for the follow. All right, so let's get into it. Put your questions in the chat, right? Which one is more important to you? You know, do you need to know this personal credit profile, or do you need to know this business entity structure? So just for the sake of time, all right, I'm going to go straight into it. Flag Sports said, Wi-Fi Dad, what's the steps to get started? How much time do you have, Wi-Fi Dad? Right. So I would say you need to DM me or text me, and I'll send you the link, the direct link to book a call, a free consultation call with the team. Oh, you got an hour? Okay, we'll go into it. We'll go into it. But you still need to book a free consultation call with the team. That's the best way to start, right? Because then you're going to see your next step. Is your next step something in my credit needs to be adjusted, repaired, improved, optimized in order to be totally ready for this? Or is my next step, my credit is actually solid? Like we got all the bullet points that we're about to go through tonight. This morning, we got all the bullet points ready. And now we're just talking about what type of funding do we need to get? How much do you want to get for your business, right? Those are the steps. But we're going to talk about the exact profile that you would need to get started. I'm going to go through why this is important. Again, different ways you can leverage this and use this, because there's been so many things that I've been able to access, over these past couple of years, that it's a different level, right? The rooms that I've been in, the people I've been in touch with has been crazy, but just because of this, right? Yep. Is this offer in Florida? Grand Rising? Yes, it is in Florida. This offer is in all 50 states, right? If you are a U.S. citizen, then this is directly available for you. Again, we're talking about yep. We're talking about why this is so powerful, because there are ways you can leverage this information right now, regardless of where you stand right now, right? You can leverage this information literally now. Okay, I'm gonna go through all that, right? So I'm gonna zip through real quick, right? So Wi-Fi Dad says we got an hour. so cool. We'll see what that's like. I'm gonna zip through just to make sure I can get this information to you, so you can be equipped and empowered. And then I'm gonna loop back around to any questions, right? So let's see. So you said you got your LLC in October. You want funding for a flag football event in January. All right. Hey, it's possible if you start literally right now, and if you're sitting on it now. Flag Sports Network. If you say you need your credit improved, we're going to go through the exact profile that you need to qualify for this. I'm going to just jump straight to this. So do you teach how to do this, or do you repair and we pay you for that service? So it's both. It's both, right? So predominantly we do done for you services where, we're saving people time and money and headache to just, hey, this is exactly what you need, and we're going to take care of it, whether that's with the credit, right, or whether that is with the funding. Right now, throughout that process, those that are working with us are learning about ways that they can execute, like different things you can do on your own, right? So it's not just like we're trying to empower people along the way. And we believe the growth will be much faster and much more thorough that way, right? So so here we go. So yep. So let's jump into it. What are your thoughts on buying a seasonal business name? Jay Crenshaw, I would say seasonal business name is the name is going to be important if it meets this criteria that I'm going to share right now, right? So whether it's seasonal or not, it just needs to we need to make sure that it's the most fundable possible when we're talking about getting funding from the banks, right? And I'm going to shortcut to some of these answers real quick, right? So one of the strategies that we're using is we're leveraging a dedicated funding LLC with everything packaged nicely the way the banks want to see it. And then we have potentially another LLC that we're using for our client facing stuff, right? So business wise, you could say, okay, I'm using this, I'm using this business to be able to do whatever I want with my clients. And then this business is the one that's going to get the funding because it's just perfectly wrapped, right? And this business gets funded, and then I can send to whatever the business is. If it's a high risk business, we're going to talk about that as far as like, is it in real estate or trucking, or any other business type that's not going to be necessarily as favorable up front. So we can just set this up so that we can we can get this straight, right? So said, do you need a certain credit score to get business loans and funding? Yes, right. But the score is not as important as the profile, right? So you said, so I should open a different business to fund this. Yes. Now, Flag Sports. I'm gonna jump straight into it, right? Property Brother, appreciate the follow. All right. And good morning, everybody. Please share this with somebody. Like I said, we got a short time, and it's even shorter if like I said, if my baby girl wakes up, the live is over. Right. I won't even be able to really say goodbye like that. Right. So put your questions in the chat. Whatever you need, let's jump into it. Right. All right, so here we go. So Flag Sports Network, here are the 3 ways you can leverage this information right now, right? Once I tell you this blueprint, you can leverage this to your advantage right now. Number 1 is you are ready for it yourself, and you are literally 30 days away from getting access to 100K, 120K, 130K, 80K for your business at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months without having to show any tax returns, any bank statements, any proof of revenue for your business, without having your business to be in business for a long time. All right. So world-class events. What about new LLCs that's created this month? Yep, that too. If you have this blueprint and these 2 pillars of your personal credit profile and your business entity structure, if you have those 2, then you are ready to go. World-class events. This is why this is so powerful. This is why I'm here in the morning sharing this with you, right? Because you can access this and there's ways you can leverage it. Now, number 1, so let's take notes, right? This is really, really important, right? And we're going to look at the business structure. We're going to look at the personal profile, right? Number 1, ways you can leverage this now, regardless of where your credit is. 1 is your credit is in the right place for you to take advantage of this yourself, right? Telemir, thanks for the follow. All right, William Boutique, appreciate the follow. You guys share this with somebody, please. Share this with somebody right now, because someone could literally stumble into this and get it's life-changing information. Because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know, and a lot of people are sitting on money that they could be using, right? Sitting on 100K, sitting on 120K, and what it's a game changer, you guys, to be able to do that, because one of the most important things you can do when you have access to that is to be able to leverage time saving and headache saving things. And what is that? This is like mentorship. This is additional knowledge, additional access, additional network. Because once you have access to these funds, not only can you execute your business without it affecting your personal credit, but you also have money to be able to pay the right mentor. If you vet them properly, the right mentor can change the game on everything, because they know the exact steps. They know exactly what you need to do, exactly what you need to not do, exactly the network, the people that you need to call, the tools that you need to use. And now you have the funds to do all of that. So whatever your business industry is, there's somebody that's been doing it or doing a version of it, right, for a long time, and they know how to get people to success. And if you can pay that person to get directly to them, right, without having to know them, that's the fastest way to be able to jump in. And this changes the entire game for that, right? S. Wayne or Swain, thanks for the follow, right? Real Kim, appreciate the follow. Yep, Kevin, thanks for the follow. Brandy, Frank, appreciate the follow, you guys, and thanks for sharing. User 436, thanks for sharing this. All right, let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. Get a pen, take some notes. Get your phone notes out, whatever you got. Right. So what's the favorable profile and the 2 pillars? Let's go into it. Wi-Fi dad. Let's go into it. All right. MNT says, if you can't do it, I do it for you. Yes, MNT, 1000%. If I can't do it, if you can't do it, then we will do it for you. These are done for you services, and you're being educated at the same time. Right. William Boutique, thanks for the follow. All right. So here we go. All right. So my daughter's waking up. Yeah, daughter's anytime now. I'm looking for that text from my wife. We got like 15 minutes, unless we had a late night last night. We were taking some family photos, which is pretty dope. But so we'll see what she does. All right, here we go. So let's go through this. The other ways you can leverage this, right? Either you're ready right now, right? This is the powerful part. Please don't let this go over your head. Either you're ready right now with your credit, and you yourself can go and access with your LLC, or if you don't have an LLC, we can start one in the right way, right? With the right structure, either way. Number 2 is, if you don't qualify for this right now, and this is for Flag Sports, right? Flag Sports Network. If you don't qualify for this right now, you can leverage what's called a credit partner, which means there's somebody else that is sitting on this profile that I'm about to explain to you right now. They're sitting on this profile and they're not using it, and you can partner with them. Either on their own LLC, we just open an LLC for them and get them funded 100K, 120K, 150K, and you guys work together on that. Or number 2, we add them to your LLC as on your operating agreement as a majority owner, and that's just a temporary thing. It's just on paper. But then when we submit to the banks are going to be looking at that person's profile, and that's how we can get access to the 100K, 50K, 80K in these 0% credit stacking approach, right? That is super powerful. Don't let that go over your head, family, right? So that means in the next 30 days, even if your credit is absolutely terrible, if you just leverage the right person, you can still be accessing these funds to be able to use to execute your business in short order, right? Number 3, once you know these steps that I'm about to tell you, you can be referring people that have this profile right now and be making income $1,000 per client, $2,000 per client, $3,000 per client, not far-fetched at all. And that can add up. You do that once a month, do that twice a month. If you did it quick enough, you could have a nice little Christmas, a nice little holiday bonus, right? Tempest in the Teapot, thanks for the follow, right? Edison, thanks for the share. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Stash Bets, appreciate the follow. All right, so do you have to pay back? Yes, you got to pay back. Aisha, let me know if that's right. All right. Wi-Fi Dad says you're interested in the third option, right? Okay. So if you want to know how to make money now on it without having to do anything else, I said one of the last payments that I paid out to a friend of mine that submitted somebody, $2,252, and it was probably 30 days after she offered the person to me, and we got her funded, and I paid her out $2,252, and she was super pregnant and wasn't thinking about anything. She didn't lift a finger. That's the easiest money she ever made, right? And that could be you. So if you want to know about that, I need you can put affiliate in the chat, or you can text me, right? Text me affiliate so that I can know that that's something that you want to get tapped in with, and I can tap you in. All right. So now Flag Sports. Now we got the 3 ways, right, of how you can leverage this information. Now, what is the information? Okay, I'm jumping into this. I'm praying that we don't get cut off. All right, here we go. But you guys stay tapped in and follow. You can check me out. You can text me. But the main thing you need to do, if we get cut off now, the main thing you need to do is book a free consultation call. All right, and Brandy, thanks for the gifts. Appreciate you. A free consultation call with a team. Go to fundingmyfuture.net, right? And fill out the little info. It takes 60 seconds. You literally do it now and be back, right? Or put it up on your computer, all right? Or you can text me 240-240-642, and I will send you the direct link to get a consultation call with your team, right? So Aisha said, do you have to pay back? Yes, you have to pay this back. This is the most leveraged way to do it, because if I can get access to this amount in the next 30 days, right, at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months, you need to be ready to execute on business, right? What am I going to do to make new money with this money? That is the main question. So you do not get into this. You're not about to take vacation, not about to buy, shoes or whatever the case. You need to be saying, what value am I adding to the world? This is the best type of business, because you're solving problems and you're adding value in the world. And then money is a byproduct of that. And this is why I say leverage mentorship, because if you're not totally sure how to do it or what to do, you need to be identifying, okay, what am I going to do? And who is going to tell me the exact steps to be able to make money? So if I can't get more money than I put out in the next 6 months, in the next 30 days, ideally, in the next 12 months, right, then you need to be taking some time to think about this, or just sharing this information with someone else that already knows what to do, because you could be making money off this. You don't even have to do a business. Say, oh, you know what you're doing with your business? Did you know you can get funding in the next 30 days if you have this credit profile and this? Let's tap in. And now you're getting $1,000. Now you're getting $2,000, $3,000 a pop. All right. So that's totally possible. All right. So I hope that makes sense. All right, here we go. So Wi-Fi Dad says you got people with that profile, then let's connect, right? Let's connect. All right, because we're sitting on it. We're sitting on it. So he said basically we do it for others as clients, and we charge them for the info that we learn. No, not necessarily. Well, you could set it up that way if you want to. But the easiest way is just I can start right now, because I just need a link. Right, Liz, affiliate. Okay, I will DM you, but you can text me, Liz, 240-240-642, so I can send you the direct link. Right, I'm gonna put that in just to make sure we got it straight. 240-642. Whoops, 2. Right, just to make sure you have that. So you guys, yep. So what would I recommend to repay the loan? Right, business. what type of business are you doing? Are you doing a real estate flip that you can complete in 4 to 6 months? You know what I mean? Are you doing some sort of drop shipping or fulfilled by Amazon? Or you don't have to use all the money. It's not a loan. These are credit cards. It's a credit card stacking approach. So we're getting multiple accounts, right, that range between 10,000 all the way up to $50,000, right? So I got a $30,000 card, I got a $15,000 card, I got a $25,000 card, I got a $40,000 card, and we don't have to use any of it, right? But when you're ready to use it, you get whatever you use, you need to be ready to pay back, right? So ideally as soon as possible. But again, you have 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. So it's very, very powerful for you to be able to jump into that. Right. Yep. So so here we go. You make sure I get answer any other questions, right? I know some people have been waiting on this blueprint, right? Like, you guys stay tapped in, right? So you can know exactly what this is going to look like. But here we go. So you want to start your own business, but don't have 0% capital to start. This is the blueprint, Aicha. This is the blueprint to how you can start. All right. Practicing gratitude. Appreciate that name. Appreciate the follow. All right. Tamia, appreciate the follow. Here we go. So you have to have a plan, Flag Sports Network. Yes, you need to have a plan. You do not have to submit a business plan, right, to the banks, and they don't have to review it in order for you to get access to these funds. However, it is smart to have a business plan, because not just an official business plan. What is the plan that I'm going to make money with this new money? And the other term for make money is, what value am I adding to people? And what problems am I solving? What lives am I changing? Right? What ease am I bringing to people? And then through that ease, how am I delivering that? And then what money am I getting back? So if you don't know that, you need to start researching that and thinking about that right now. Like I said, and ideally, this is not something that you're going to put money into for a long time. You're not going to get into a stock that's supposed to give a return in the next 20 years. We need to be looking at, okay, what can I do in the next 30 days, right? And this is a lot. If somebody has a business like advertising, like, there's a lot of things that if you do it right, that can churn out return in very short order. There's a lot of people that do lending, right? Short-term lending in real estate and things like that, and gap funding. And, there's a lot of things that you can do that can return, if you do it right, that can return in short order. We're not doing even like long-term real estate. We're not doing long-term real estate. A turnkey property that's going to give me an 8% return, 10% return over the next 10, 20 years. That's great for somebody has a lot of money and that can park it there. And that 10% return is like, that's sweet. But if you're just starting from scratch, we need something else that's going to have a return on investment, that's going to have an exit strategy. When I put this money out, I know I'm going to get more back. And this is why, again, mentorship is so powerful, because the best mentors are giving you a promise, a guarantee to say, if you pay me, I'm going to just give you a real example. There's a mentorship that's $25,000 to join the highest tier, right? $25,000. And when you do that, their goal is to teach you as soon as possible how to learn how to make $100,000 a month. The strategies that they have is that we can teach you how to make $100,000 a month, or $100,000 in a day, using these webinars and these different formats, right? So that is the type of investment that we're talking about. Like, okay, if I put 25 here, now they're going to tell me to put another 10,000 into ads. They're going to tell me to do this, and that. But then once I do all of that, I can make $25,000 a month recurring, or $100,000 a month, or, that's what we're talking about. All right. So here we go. Last questions. So let's say you want to be affiliate. Do you guys provide a bit of training? Yes, Wi-Fi Dad, we provide training. Yep. To be able to say, like, this is what you need to know, like, how you tell about it. What's just enough for you to be able to get to push across so that the team can handle the rest, right? That is definitely a possibility, right? So I said, I wouldn't advise a big amount if you can't pay it back. Yes, Flag Sports Network, I would not advise a big amount. Now, Flag Sports Network, if you are doing flag sports for youth, or like that's benefiting the community in some way, I will just say, this is not directly what I do, but I'm going to share the value while I'm here, right? I will say that there are other things that you can access potentially. I don't know how fast you can access them, but if you go to what's called, write this down, a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, there might be favorable loans, right? Or there might be access to certain grants that you can use to be able to fund your business. If it's like it doesn't even have to be fully nonprofit, but if it's helping the community in some way, right, then you can, that's an angle that you can play. All right. So I will say that. Now, while you play that angle, I suggest you still take advantage of this stuff, because now you still have funds that you can use, right, for your business. That's at 0% interest. It's one of the most powerful ways to be able to access it. And that's another tool that you have in your belt. However, if you're doing anything that's related to helping somebody, right, there's other avenues. Some people get into government contracting, where I'm doing my business, but I'm setting myself up in a way that I can do it for the government and get paid out that way for doing the regular thing that I do that's helpful to the community or helpful, in any way. There's certain favorable positions that you can access, or sometimes there's grants, right? There's a lot of different ways to get funded, right? The reason I'm telling you guys this is because this is one of the most powerful, one of the fastest, and one of the highest amounts to start with. Like I said, how long is it going to take you to save up $80,000? How long will it take you to save up 50,000, 100,000, 120, 150,000, right? And not even to mention, if we leverage credit partners and you do multiple people, right? That's another strategy. If you're thinking outside the box, you say, okay, what if I got 5 people together that had this credit profile, and those 5 people each got 120,000, 125,000, right? Now we're looking at 625,000 that we could be using to take down a business, right? A business that costs, you guys, this is crazy. A business that costs $4 million, pay for a $4 million business that CDFI, Edison, CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, right? But listen, you could collectively, this is a broader thing, but you could collectively buy a business that costs $4 million that is cash flowing $50,000 a month, $70,000 a month. And that $5 million business is going to require, if you use the SBA, which we can help you with, is going to require a $500,000 down payment. It's 10% when you use the SBA. So with that $500,000, who has $5,000, 500,000? My 6 partners that I linked up with, and we each got 130,000. And now we're going to liquidate that into cash and be able to use it, in that certain way. And you could potentially purchase a business that is cash flowing now. That's a strategy that people are doing right now, every day. Right? Crazy stuff. Tasha Edwards, thanks for the follow. All right. So, yep. So here we go. So, let's make sure I have all the questions answered. Miss Entertainer, thanks for the follow. Liz, appreciate it. Yep. Buying other businesses. That's what we just talked about. Flag Sports. Yep. It's totally accessible. Now, again, buying businesses, you want to be under mentorship to be able to do it right. You don't want to just go out there and not know what to expect, not know, like, what is my responsibility going to be? How detailed do I have to be on top of this? What type of team do I have to have? What time do I need to have? That's where a good mentor is going to be able to tell you the best way to do it. And how do you access the mentor? Is usually through money. If you can add value to somebody, if they're in your local area, you can go and add value to them. You might be able to get in, for free or something like that, and be able to help. But that's going to be a longer process. Typically, if you have the money to pay somebody, right? Because money, if you're talking about you don't pay attention. That's the same thing with people that have this information a lot of times, except for right now, because you're getting this for free. But when you can pay a mentor, you can get directly around them, and they can give you the exact sauce, right? They can give you the exact sauce. So here we go. So last couple questions. Put your questions in the chat, right? So Brandy, you started your specimen collection business last month. Just need funding. All right, we're going to talk about this blueprint. And we already talked about, Brandy, is how you can access this yourself with this credit profile, or you can leverage a credit partner, or you can just be making referrals if you want to be able to build up funds, to whatever you want to use. All 3 of those you need to be leveraging, whichever one is best for you, right? How much does it cost for our services? So this consultation is absolutely free. Fundingmyfuture.net. The consultation is free. So you're going to get the information. You're going to get your next step for free. Then they're going to tell you, depending on your profile, if you need help with your credit, this is how much it's going to be, right? And typically there's monthly plans and stuff, very affordable, no matter which way you slice it. If it's funding, typically you're not paying a whole lot. It might be a small deposit, but you're not most of the funds are after we perform. So if we don't get you the funding, then nobody gets paid, and nobody likes that, right? So this is why we put that incentive there to say, well, you're only going to pay on whatever you actually successfully get, right? Now, and once you do that, you're using the funds that you just got, right? You're leveraging the bank's money to be able to pay the fee and then to be able to do the business. So you're starting at 0% interest, right? You're starting at 0% interest to be able to do that. And then the next question is, what am I going to do to make money on the rest of the money that I have? All right. And this is one of the best, the fastest, quickest setups to be able to get there. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Any other questions? So we went through CDFI. So we talked about, again, you guys can text me. Appreciate that in the chat, right? 240, 240, 640, 2. You can text me and I'll send you the direct link if you want to talk about affiliate, if you need funding, or if you know you need credit, whatever that is, let me know. Veronica, thanks for the share. Can we purchase FedEx routes? Walter, yes, there was no reason that you couldn't. If you need to purchase those routes, if you can use a card to purchase the routes, you do it directly. If you cannot use a card to purchase those routes, you need to be able to liquidate those funds into cash in a way that does not show up as a cash advance. No high fees, no high interest, still on 0%, but we can liquidate any amount up to $500,000 in the next 3 days, or same day if you really, really need it, right? We can liquidate that into cash. So you can use that cash to be able to, and this is how we do the SBA thing, right? Because you're not going to be using credit cards to put a down payment for an SBA to buy a business, right? But we can liquidate into cash, and we might need to do it for a couple months in order for it to season there. It might be, right? But we can do that, and we have those funds now to be able to do that. So whatever you want to use it for, Walter, whatever you want to use it for. If you're going to purchase FedEx routes, depending on how much of those routes, Walter, that's not my area. Let me know how much those routes are, right? But if we're saying I can get access to 100K in the next 30 days, if I have this profile or if I leverage a partner properly, right? Then you can do it, right? Thanks for the shares, you guys. Thanks for the shares. Hola, thanks for the follow, right? Damon, you need help. This is the way to get help. Book a call with the team to get your next step laid out so you can start going in that direction. Say, okay, what is the direction I need to go in? Right? What is the direction that I need to go in? All right, so here we go. What type of institutions would we be applying to for the credit cards? So Wi-Fi Dad. So these are banks and credit unions, right? That already offer 0% interest credit. Right. So you think of the big banks, and then there's probably some smaller credit unions or credit unions that you've never heard of that are in your local area. This is why the consultation is so valuable and important, is because we're looking at your specific situation, your specific area. Like your state might have different options, right, that aren't available to other people. This is why it's not a cookie cutter thing. This is why we're going through like person by person to look at what's the best thing for you. This is not like we're just going to pass you off a pre-made burger, right? This is like custom. It's custom to you. This is why these consultations are so valuable. And I suggest that you just do it, period, and get tapped in, because it's going to be specific to your situation, right? So here we go. So what, if we do the steps, we can get funding in the next 30 days, right? If you have this profile, right? If you have this profile and you have this business entity structure, if you are sitting on that right now, one of my last clients that came through, it was from the time that she booked a call with the team to the time that she had $90,000 available to her for her real estate business was 22 days. 22 days. Right? Is that that's before the end of the year. If you started now. If you're sitting on that, right? If you're not sitting on it, then you need to be leveraging a credit partner. If you're trying to move right now, you need to find a credit partner. And for one of the people on the calls the other day, that was like a fiance. She's like, I don't have that, but my fiance has it. Can we do that? Yep, you could do it. We're going to do it on that person, and we find a way to put them either on the operating agreement, or we use a different LLC for them. And now you got what you need. All right, here we go. Here we go. So starting about 10 grand. Oh, for FedEx routes, Walter, let me know if I pay 10 grand for a FedEx route, how much can I make per month on that? How quickly would I be able to pay back that 10 grand? Let me know. Is that within 6 months? Is that within a year? Let me know that. All right, because this is totally possible. So Ola says, you need help, more information on funding for business. Let's talk about it. Yep, this is all under the LLC, not personal credit at all. Wi-Fi Dad. It's not. We're leveraging our personal profile to get into the door to be able to get these high limits, right? But once we get access to it, this does not impact our personal credit, right? Now, what are the ways that it impacts it is when we apply for it, they're doing a hard inquiry on your personal credit report. to be able to say, okay, well, who is this person? Why are we trusting this business that has just started with $20,000, with $40,000, with $10,000? Why are we doing that? Right? We're leveraging our personal credit profile. We get the hard inquiry, but write this down. Any hard inquiry that is not attached to an active and open account on your personal credit report, we can technically go in and remove those inquiries. So we get these inquiries by getting these business credit cards and accounts, right, from these institutions, and each one is going to pull from a different bureau. This is part of the credit stacking strategy. Each one of these is going to pull from a different bureau. So they're going to pull from Equifax, right? And once we get to about 3 inquiries, then that starts to get really tricky. So we've arranged our sequence so that we're not doing too many institutions that pull from the same bureau, right? Because they're only looking at one bureau. So some institutions are going to pull from Equifax, some pull from Experian, some pull from TransUnion. So we leverage those strategically and in the right order to be able to access, again, what's 10,000 plus 20,000 plus 25,000 plus 40,000 plus 15,000 plus 20,000. That starts to add up very quickly. And then we can go through and wipe off all those inquiries. And guess what? Rinse and repeat and do it again. Crazy, right? So Ola says, you're sitting on great credit and some business profiles. Ola, you need to be booking a call, fundingmyfuture.net, right? Text me 240-240-642. You need to be tapping in if you're sitting on that. And we're going to go through it right now. Okay, Zamora, thanks for the follow. All right, here we go. What's the best business structure for funding or CDFIs? Let's talk about it. What are the data points? The consultant said, let's get to the business. Let's do it. Here we go. And thankfully, my daughter has not come up yet. So we're on stoppage time right now. All right, stoppage time. Somebody just tapped in. Yep, somebody just tapped in. Let's go. Here we go. Number 1, your personal credit profile. Get your PIN. Moan, thanks for the follow. Get your PIN. This is it. The data points. You need to have in your personal credit $10 to $15,000 of your credit limits. If you add up all your limits, is it 10 to 15,000? Thanks for the follow, the consultant. Thanks for the follow. 10 to 15,000 or more overall, right? And in those cards that you have, do you have at least 2 that are $3,000 limit or higher? That's number 1. If you got that, I want you to put check in the chat. If you don't have that, I want you to put credit in the chat because you either need to be working on your credit or we need to be finding a credit partner. This is a big one. So if you're sitting on that, then that's a big deal. You are like most of the way there. You're probably one move away, if anything, from anything else. All right, here we go. Number 2 is your utilization needs to be under 30%. Minimum under 30%. Ideally, it's under 10%. All right. If you've got utilization over that, there are ways we can do it. You might be 1 or 2 moves away. You might be a couple days away, right, from being able to access that. That's why I say that first point is the most important. And this is across the board, your total utilization, as well as your individual cards. Each individual card ideally needs to be under that threshold, under 30% at minimum, ideally under 10%. If you've got that, I want you to put number 2. I want you to put 2 in the chat. If you don't have that, I want you to put utilization in the chat. All right. So I want you to put 2 in the chat. If you got that, I want you to put utilization in the chat if you do not have that. All right. Number 3, your increase needs to be 0 to 3 increase max per bureau. Once you're over 3, then we start to have a problem. Ola, if utilization is your only problem, we are, like I said, we are 1 move away. And I'm about to explain that if I have time. 1 move away from you being totally ready. All right, here we go. So the increase 0 to 3. If you got less than 3 inquiries per bureau, and ideally in the last 6 months, anything older than 6 months is going to have less impact on the funding decision. Anything in the most recent 6 months is going to have more impact. So if you have under 3 inquiries per bureau, and especially in the last 6 months, I want you to put a number 3 in the chat. If you got that, I want you to put inquiries in the chat if you don't. All right. We got you guys. We gotta respond quickly. Okay. Because the time is short. The time is nigh. All right, here we go. So I'm seeing some 3s. All right. Number 4 is you need to have at least 10 accounts reporting to your primary credit. All right. Primary accounts, that means in your name, do you have at least 10 accounts? This is all across the board: student loans, mortgages, auto loans, right? Personal loans, Credit cards, store cards, you have at least 10, 7 to 10 minimum. The more the merrier. If you got that, I want you to put a 4 in the chat. If that's you. If that's not you, I want you to put accounts in the chat. Do closed accounts count? Yes. Closed accounts do count. Yep. Walter Bainham, make sure you check in on that, because that's what you need to know. Like, how quickly could I make this back? And who is the person that is guaranteeing me that I can do this according to their strategy? All right, here we go. Number 5, your average age of your credit needs to be 4 to 5 years or more, sweet spot. 2 years or more, over 2 years is you can get in the door. Under 2 years, we got to do some work. And again, you might be 1 or 2 moves away from being able to get the age to the place that you need to do without having to wait forever. So if you got that, I want you to put 5 in the chat. If you got your average age is at least 2 years or more, put 5 in the chat. If not, then I want you to put age in the chat. All right. Nina, thanks for the follow. Yep. Now, closed accounts work, but again, you do want to make sure you have as many open as possible. But the banks want to see, like, what kind of history, what have you managed in your past? All right, here we go. We're almost there. Number 6. Again, put 5 in the chat if you got that. Put age in the chat if you don't have that. Number 6. We need no negatives, no derogatories. Twaller, thanks for the follow. No derogatories. No derogatories. That means no late payments in the last 2 years. No collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcies. Remember, late payments in the last 2 years. If it's older than 2 years, it's still not ideal, but we can push forward to be able to still get you funded. Right? In the last 2 years. If you got that, I want you to put 6 in the chat. If you don't have that, I want you to put derogatory in the chat. Now, for some of you, if you were a check mark and you put all the numbers for all 6 of those points, I want you to put ready in the chat. If you were not ready, I want you to put what's the only thing that was holding you back, and I will go into detail about what is the thing that you can do. What's the thing that you can do to deal with that thing that you didn't have? Right now, for everybody, again, my suggestion. So utilization, let's talk utilization. Ola, this is a great gem to possibly end on. Like I said, my girl is giving me some extra time. So y'all are in luck. This is a great point to end on. Twaller says accounts. Ty says derogatory. All right. So let's start with Ty. Ty, derogatory, you need to book a call with the team, right? To be able to look at which derogatories need to be removed, which ones need to be, adjusted. And you might be, again, a lot of our clients that need help with credit, some sort of credit repair, but you're sitting on the rest of the other stuff. A lot of our clients are seeing results in the first 90 days. All right. So what is that? Hey, by February, you might be ready to yourself access 100K, 120K, 80K. Right. So that's great. Start the work, start the ball rolling now. You could be 90 days away. It could take longer. Right. But we're committed to get it done, or you get a refund. Like that's period. Right. But a lot of our clients are seeing results in the first 90 days. So that could be you. Now, Ty, while you get the ball rolling, now you also, okay, how fast do I need the funding? Do I need to leverage a credit partner? Right. Or do I need to be referring people so I can be getting 1,000, 2,000 per a pop, to 2,500, 3,000 a pop for this? All right. Twaller says accounts. We need to be starting to add accounts to your report, personal accounts in your name. If you have all the other stuff, you just don't have enough accounts, then we need to know, okay, which accounts do I need to add? And again, the best way is to get a call with the team. Fundingmyfuture.net. Hit the link there and fill out the information, or you can text me and I will send you the direct link. Same link, 240, 640, 2. We can get help with that. All right, Ola, here we go. Utilization. This is one of the biggest hacks. Right now, utilization. What is your utilization based on? Your utilization determines your credit score, right? There's a chunk of your score from 300 to 850. So this is 550 points that we're talking about, from the lowest to the highest. That utilization counts for about 30% of your total score, which is about 150 to 180 points, right? So it's based on your revolving credit card balances. That means any balances that you have on your credit cards compared to your limits determines your utilization, how much you are using. Now, what this does, you guys share this with somebody, please. This is a great time to share. We're coming in on the end of this, right? Share this with somebody. hit the like button, share a gift if this is valuable for you. This is going to let the algorithm know to let as many people know before we wrap this up. Right? Tanisha, thanks for the share. Hola, thanks for the share. Here we go. Here we go. Utilization is based on your revolving credit card limits. What it's not based on is any installment products. What are installment products? These are personal loans, right? Debt consolidation loans, things like that, where you have a fixed payment. So what does that mean? I could literally write this down. I could literally take, if I have $20,000 of credit. Somebody tell me in the chat, how much personal credit debt do you have total? Add it all up. But let's just say if I had $20,000, right, of this credit debt, and I'm using most of my utilization, right? Feminine Rebuild, thanks for the follow. And a Twaller, appreciate you sharing. I got $20,000 in my personal credit limits that I'm using. I'm using up most of my utilization, and my score is probably in the low 600s, maybe 500 or something like that, because I got everything else. But this utilization is killing me because I've been doing business. Life has been lifing, or whatever the case. And I've just been using my personal credit. I didn't know any better. I could literally take a personal loan out in the next 24 to 48 hours. I can get a personal loan, and we can help you, guide you to the right ones to choose. But I can get a personal loan for $20,000. I go and pay off the credit cards for $20,000. Now my credit balances show 0. And now I've still got the same debt. I didn't come out of pocket anymore. I don't have to pay anything else, but I got the same debt of $20,000. And guess what happens? My credit score shoots up through the roof because now that calculation based on my revolving credit card limits has dropped to 0. Right? So now however many points that was, that boosts that. And guess what? If I left it there, then I would just be paying less in interest, period, right? Because these personal loans are typically lower interest than the credit cards. However, I'm ready for funding now. Ola, that's going to be you. I'm ready for funding now. So as soon as that clears my accounts over the next 30 days, whenever your accounts report, you need to know your statement dates for all your cards, right? As soon as that clears, then I'm ready to get access to 100K in business funding at 0%, 120K, 80K at 0% interest. So what does that mean? I can effectively move that $20,000 personal loan over to the business credit side at 0% interest using either some liquidation methods or using some balance transfer methods. There's different ways to do it. But now I've gone from 29% interest on my credit cards and no access to funding to 0% interest on that amount. And I can access 100K, 120K, 80K, 130K, 150K in business funding at 0% interest without having to submit any tax returns, without having to submit, proof of income, business plans, while my business being in business for a bunch of time, right? Now you're ready for that. And guess what? That amount is now no longer, because these business credit cards do not show up on your personal credit. It's no longer on your personal credit. So your DTI, like whatever situation, it's completely off of your report. And now it's here on the business side. Now the question is, what am I going to do to make money with the rest of the money that I have access to? Because you used up 20, you paid some fees, you know what I mean, on some of that. So what I have left, what am I going to do in business to be able to push it forward? Right. So what about the hard inquiry that you are going to get on that loan? It's not a loan, number one. Right. For the hard inquiry. Okay. So for the personal loan, I got you, Lindsay. So let's say that's one hard inquiry, right? And is it worth it to have that hard inquiry on your profile to be able to access 100K? And then all the rest of the inquiries that we're going to get on that side, we can wipe them off. So we would keep that inquiry on our report, but we strategically do that, which is why we're going to go to a certain bank for our personal loan that's going to pull the hard inquiry from a bureau that might not be one of the bureaus that we get the business funding from. This is all part of the strategy, you guys. It's all part of the sequence. Why this matters, like a chess match, to be able to put all this together. So we would strategically eat that hard inquiry on that personal loan, right? And then be able to go through. Now, here's the other thing. I would just say this. If it's not attached to an open and active account on your report, then we technically can remove it. So once we pay it off, if we paid it off in the next 30 days, like I said, we're getting the business credit. If we decided to pay it off, now that personal loan is paid all the way down. If we felt like disputing that inquiry and removing that inquiry, then technically they can't close the account because it's already paid off. So that's the thing. If you really wanted to remove it, then you technically could try, right? because the risk of removing an open account, removing inquiry on an open account is the risk is they're going to close your account. That's why we recommend to not do that. There's some people that do it anyway. Like, hey, I'm just going for it. And, but I'm not going to advise anybody to do that. However, Lindsay, that's a good question, is if we have one hard inquiry, this is why you need to check what inquiries that you have now. And you want to be very careful about applying for stuff. Don't just go applying for everything right now. Right? So what inquiries do you currently have? And do we strategically eat that one inquiry at least for a time period so we can access the business funding and get moved forward? You guys, I just shared with you the blueprint, right? This is exactly what you need. If you have that, you're sitting on money that you could be using, right? If you do not have that, then you are sitting on it because there's a credit partner out there that has this profile and they're not doing anything with it. It could be a family member, right? Or it could be somebody that's in another mentorship group that you're in, or somebody that follows someone else, or they really want to do the business and you can link with them and be able to leverage that. And you can leverage it right now. 1000%. Right? Put your questions in the chat. We're going to go through Flag Sports. You still on? Wi-Fi Dad, you still on? Appreciate you. We're going to go through what is this business entity structure. Again, we help with all this, but I want to give you the information that you can have it. You can run with it if you want to. And I would suggest to do it under the consultation of the team so you can remove all the headaches. You can remove any, mistakes and things like that. You're going to minimize that by being able to contact. All right. So here we go. Contact 240, 240, 640, 2. That's the fastest way. And I will send you as soon as I get a moment. If I'm not picking up baby girl from the crib, as soon as I get a moment, I will text you the direct link to be able to sign up, right? To get a free consultation call. Or if you're interested, if you feel like I know some business owners or people that are looking to get into business that need funding, or I could think of ways to find a few people that do that. I'd be willing to take a few minutes a day to call some realtors, to call some tax professionals, to call some, there's these different angles we can take to check out my local chamber of commerce and business in my city. Say, hey, do you guys have people that need funding? Because I have access to this strategy. And you could be getting, again, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 a pop. That adds up quickly. If you want to know about that, then just message me. Let me know. Put your questions in the chat, right? Here we go. So you're saying there's a 20K personal card that bad credit borrowers can access to repair? No, personal loan. MF&J is here. A personal loan, right? And you have to be able to qualify for that personal loan, but it's a very wide range that we can get access to because our plan is to get rid of the loan in the next 45 days, right? So this is not a personal card, but we can get a personal loan because if it was a card, it would still be revolving debt and our utilization would still be the same. But we need to shift it. This is why you don't know what you don't know. Then that's going to hurt you. We just need to shift this debt from one place to another place. If you have the money to pay it down and you decide to pay it down, then hey, great, pay it down. If you don't have it right this second, or you don't want to leverage it in that way right this second, then we have that option to be able to do that. But it totally changes your credit score when you do that. All right. Do you need to call or send letters to delete the inquiry after you get funded in business? Right. So there are ways to call. We can give you scripts to do it yourself. Doing it yourself is one of the fastest ways. Once you learn how to do it properly, you just got to be willing to put in the time and be willing to call. And so you might have to call a few times and things like that. Also, we can help to remove the inquiries as well. And we do that as a part of the process. So if you don't want to worry about it, we can help with it. If you do want to learn the process, we'll teach you exactly what to do. Boom. Right. So you said, Brandon, you have your EIN and your DUNS number. Okay, cool. EIN and DUNS number is great. We're going to look at the business entity structure, God willing, with the time. Right. We're going to look at the business entity structure to say like what is the next thing that you need to set up. But I want to be clear that this approach, you do not need a PAYDEX score. Right. When you hear a lot about business credit, it's like, okay, I need to get my 80 PAYDEX score so I can get access to this, and that. That's cool. That's a separate path, right? A lot of times it's a longer path, but it's something that's nice to do, right? However, in order to access the 0% stacking strategy that I'm telling you, again, if you're in business and you've done a bunch of business, you got tax returns, you make $1 million a year, we can help you with all the other types of things, lines of credit, business loans, large SBA loans, and all this other stuff. We can help with that. But I know not everybody is starting from that place. So this is why I'm telling you, anybody can access this. Even if you're a big business owner, it might help to have an extra 150K that you can use at 0% interest. If you strategically deploy that, then that can make a lot of sense strategically, right? Or for everyone else, you can access this from day one if you have this profile that I just laid out. Now, what is a profile? One more time. Hopefully you were taking notes. Who was taking notes? Yep. Hold on. 240, 240, 640, 2. Right? Here we go. Here we go. So what were those? So hopefully you can spout those off. Cheeks McNally, thanks for the follow. EJ, appreciate the follow. You guys share this with somebody. Again, we're on borrowed time right now. I want to give as much information as I can. There's one thing that I have to say. You're in the shower, Brandy. Hey, get fresh. I will say it again for you. One thing that I have to say though is that I personally believe in abundance, right? I believe that this is why I'm here today, because I believe that if I give you the information, it's going to pan out either way. Either you're going to decide to work with us, or you're going to take the information and run with it, and hopefully you get some benefit from it. There's no gatekeep, right? So I believe everybody can win. Now, because of that, there's another thing that I am committed to personally is I want the next generation to be better off than we were, right? Those that are coming up to be more equipped, to be more knowledgeable, to be able to execute and succeed. So this is why I have committed to personally donate and reinvest a portion of my profits from this to a fund that's going to be helping young entrepreneurs to get into business, to get into wealth creation, to get into financial literacy, to get into mentorship, right? And to move their lives forward. And this is not because I just have too much money, right? It's because I feel like God is telling me you need to start this thing off from a state of giving and from a state of abundance and not of scarcity to try to just grab and get everything you can get. And I believe that when I do that and I give, then it's going to come around, right? So if you're working with me in any capacity, even if you're working with a team and through me or whatever the case, just know that that is part of the equation. And I hope that those that are on this morning, people that are wanting to push their lives forward, also care about, hey, if we can all win at the same time, that would be great. So that's why I love win situations, right? So if you sign up as an affiliate and you want to refer somebody, that's where you win, they win. You know, like I said, the kids win, like everybody can win if we push this forward. All right. So here we go. Brandy, just for you, real quick, write this down. If you got a pen, I hope you got, you're not too wet from the shower. All right. And I thrift heat. Thanks for the follow. Here we go. I'm going to zip through it real quick, and we're going to go through the LLC structure real quick. Here we go. What's up, Dove Hill? At least you need at least $10,000 to $15,000 of your overall credit limits minimum, right? And in that, you need 2 cars that have a $3,000 balance or more. If you don't have that, you need to start building now. The best way to start building is to under the consultation of the team, because they can tell you, okay, you need to get this, this, and this. That's going to be the fastest way to get there. All right. Number 2, your utilization needs to be under 30%, ideally under 10%. The lower, the better, across all your cards and each individual card. Number 2, write this down, you guys. Thanks for the follow. I thrift heat. Here we go. 2 to 5 inquiries or less. So 3 inquiries really max per bureau. And in the last 6 months, we want as few as possible in the last 6 months. That's number 3. Number 4, you need at least 10 primary accounts in your name reporting on your credit report. So your total accounts, at least 10, 7 to 10. The more the merrier. If you got 15, you got 20, great. Number 5, your average age of your credit needs to be 4 to 5 years. That's the sweet spot. But if you're over 2 years, then we can get you in the door. If you're under 2 years, yeah, appreciate you, Arthur. If he write this down, you came in at the right time, right? Tag it resources. Thanks for the follow. If you're under 2 years on your average age, then we got some stuff we need to do, but we can help. And you might be one move away, but we got some stuff we need to do. Liz, how can we text you for joining the affiliate group? Just put affiliate in your text so I know. Put your name and put affiliate in the text. 240, 642. Yep. Put your name so I know. Right. And then I can get you tapped in with that. All right, here we go. And there's the last one, Brandy, is you need no negatives on your report. No late payments in the last 2 years. Right. No late payments in the last 2 years. No collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcy. If you got that, you are literally sitting on $100,000, 120 that you could be using. Right. You can text me at that. Liz, I'm going to I will reach out to you, but it will be easier if you text me as well, right? At that number. Just send me a quick text, put affiliate. Same with you at Practicing Gratitude. I'll go back through this comments. Again, I got to start my day with my daughter and stuff, but I'll go back through the comments and make sure you get it. But if you text me, that's going to be the faster and easiest way to lock in the spot. Okay, 240, 240, 642. Just tell me what your name is. You tell me who you are on TikTok and or wherever you're watching it from. Tell me your name and I will get you that information. All right, now here's the LLC structure. Let's zip through it real quick. We are on super borrowed time. You guys are in luck this morning. All right, here we go. Your business entity, whichever entity you have, this is what you need to be able for the banks to look at it. Here's the principle: is it needs to look like a legitimate business as much as possible. It looks like it's going to stick around for a long time, and it looks like very stable and secure. Banks love stable and secure. They hate uncertain and risky. Right? So here we go. You need a business name. Number one, write this down, you guys. A business name that is a non-high risk business name. What is a high risk business name? Anything that indicates a high risk industry, regardless of what your official NAICS code is. For those of us that know what NAICS code is, if you don't, I'll explain it. NAICS, regardless of what your code is, the banks will sometimes assign a code to you, regardless of what it is, just based on what your name sounds like. Or in whatever conversation they have with you, they're just going to put you in a certain bucket. And when they put you in that bucket, then that could mean lower limits. It could mean denials, right? It could mean kicking to another process that you have to submit more information. You got to submit tax returns. You got to do all this different stuff. So the easiest way is to make a generic name that does not trigger those flags. What are those generic names? If you're creating an LLC, it's the best way to do it if you're targeting it for funding. And then you can do your client-facing stuff otherwise. What are the low-risk names? A keyword and enterprises, right? A keyword and group, a keyword and solutions, a keyword and holdings sometimes, right? Some of these very generic names, right, that are for the business entity, that's the best way to go. All right. So if you're trying to be creative with your name, you don't got to be fancy or creative. Something boring and straightforward. That's what the banks like. Now you can use your creative name. If you use one else LLC, you can use your creative name as a DBA or a doing business as. So to say, now this is like officially my business name, but the official documents have this name. So when I'm facing my clients, I can use this name, whatever I want to do. Right. But when it's facing the banks, now I got this that they're looking at. I can create a website under this name that's for my clients, or I can create another website that is for the banks. All right. This is important because if you set these things up, now you can get access to 100K, 120K. It's worth it to do that extra little work. Right. Here we go. What are the high risk industries? Just a few off the top. Is anything having if it's real estate investing, right? If it's trucking, logistics, gambling, adult entertainment, CBD and marijuana and things like that. There are certain things that the banks typically don't like to touch. You can Google lists of that. That's not hard to find. But you just need if you know the safe way to go, then that's the best way to do. Right. And again, if you're booking a call with a team, then we can tell you what is the exact way to set this up properly. Right. Next, here we go. Number 2, a business address that is dedicated business address, right? And is not a PO box. That's the number one thing. We don't want it to look, smell, or quack like a PO box. If it does, the banks don't like that. Now, so I'm gonna just give you the sauce straight out. A lot of our clients recently have been getting more success actually using a home address, even compared to a virtual address. Because most people would say, hey, let's open a virtual address for our business, right? Keep it separate, keep it private. You know what I mean? You got to get business funding on it. Cool. It's a dedicated business address. Cool. A lot of our clients have been seeing issues with virtual addresses because some banks are starting to look at them sideways because it looks like a PO box because in effect, you don't do your business from there, right? You just receive mail there. It's just an address. So they want to know something solid. Is it somewhere solid that can we find you here? You know what I mean? Yep. So Brandy says, I had so much trouble with the virtual address. Yep. That can give you issues. So I'm going to give you the sauce now. Now, if you are going to do a virtual address, I'll tell you exactly how to do it to maximize your chances. Right. And that depends. Now, Brandy, let me know, where did you get your virtual address from? Let me know, Brandy. Because that it does make a difference. So let me give you the strategy that's been working. right? Where people will use a dual LLC setup to be able to get funding, maximize funding. One LLC, right? I post to one, Brandy. So I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna give you the sauce if we have time. Yep, I'm gonna give you the sauce. Tommy, thanks for the share. Knowledge born Allah, appreciate the follow and good morning. So Brandy, with that virtual address, for I post to one, you got to make sure that you check, right? You got to make sure that you check. Number one, you need to look to see is your address showing up as a CMRA, commercial mail receiving agency. If you got one of the cheaper iPostal ones, like the $9.99, it looks attractive. It looks like, oh, this is it. I'm about to be up. A lot of those, if you look up the address, you're going to look up to USPS zip code lookup. You guys, this is like super sauce. Please take notes. Please share this with somebody. Hit the like button. Share a gift, right? I'm going in this morning, and my daughter is giving you some extra time. I do have a hard cutoff in like 5 minutes because we got to take my son, newly adopted son, to school. It's a separate product. Ray Sean, thanks for the follow. Right? So CMRA, you need to look up Google USPS zip code lookup. Right? USPS zip code lookup. When you do that, you're going to see a few line items. You put your address in there, and one of those line items is going to say CMRA, and it's going to have a Y next to it or an N next to it. Yes or no? If it says CMRA and it says yes, then that is a problem because it is registered as an address that only and strictly handles mail for people. That is not a place of business. It's like glaring and saying that. So you tell me, Brandy, if you find that USPS zip code lookup, you put that iPostal address in there, and you tell me what it says. Now, here's the second way you can tell. You put that address into Google Street View. Google Street View is going to show one of two things. Either it's going to be a nice looking office building, or it's going to be a Staples or a 7-Eleven or something like that. If yours shows up as a Staples, then that's definitely 100% is not where you do business. It's super clear. So the banks are looking at that. The underwriters are looking at that to see like where is this address? And do you do business from here? Can we find you here? Are you just going to up and disappear from here? They don't like places you can up and disappear. This is why they don't like. That's why they don't like. Now, Brandy, check that USPS zip code lookup. Check the zip code lookup just to be sure. All right. Now, if Brandy comes back and says this is not showing up as a CMRA, right? It says no, it says in on the CMRA, Brandy, and we're holding out for you. Like I said, we got a short time. Let's take action quick. Put USPS zip code lookup in Google. Click it. Put your address in there and tell me. Look for CMRA. And does it show yes or no? We're counting on you, Brandy. Does it show yes or no for that? Because if it comes back as no as a CMRA, and it also looks like a nice office building, then that means that we need to leverage this other strategy because, and it depends on the bank that you're using, which is why when you're working with a team, we know which banks to go to. If this one doesn't work, we got these other ones to work with. It's a whole sequence and a whole strategy, which is why it's hard to do this on your own. All right. You can get the information. It's going to take time. There's going to be bumps and bruises. And every time there's a mistake, you got to increase, you got an account on there or something like that. And that's going to potentially push you back because you might have to wait for that to age out. You got to do some extra work to remove, or you got to do some different things. That's why I say if you start on a solid structure from the beginning, that's the best way to go. All right. So Brandy, let me know. Is that a yes or no? And you guys can look up your address for this too. So here's the strategy. We're going to leverage a business entity that is directly packaged for the banks. So if we use a home address for that, right, here are the ways that this defeats the arguments. If I use a home address, then, okay, what about my privacy? Because it's public information, what's on the business, right? So if I use that, then what's going to happen? This is why we use a client-facing entity. Write this down. So if I have an entity that's facing the clients only, then the customers, if I have tenants or whatever the case, they're only going to see this entity, and I can put whatever address that I want on there. I can use a PO box. I can use if you can open it with the state with that, but I can use a virtual address, whatever I want to. So that is private. Use a registered agent. If a registered agent does that, that's another option that can work, right? But I have this entity with my home address. If the home address is only dealing with the banks and I'm only getting funding from it, and no one else is not advertised, it's hard enough to get your business notice. You know what I mean? If you are trying, but so Brandy says it says no. Okay, Brandy. So we need to be looking at some other strategy. You need to be touching base with the team because there's something that you're missing, or we might, depending on the banks that you're working with, we might need to leverage that home address, right? We can keep it private technically because no one is looking for it. There's no one has any reason to know that you're connected to it or to look it up or whatever the case. All right. So that's a way that you can still get access to the max funding, right? And people and go that way. Clarissa Kane. Okay, Brandy, I hope that made sense. All right. So again, this is why it's tough to go when you're navigating on your own because you don't necessarily know which ways it's going to cause you an issue or not. And you might need to leverage that home address strategy, right? Or if there are ways to use your address, or here's the other thing, Brandy. Did you put in your address when you get it from iPostal One and you put your address and you signed up for your EIN and you signed up for your state filing and you signed up for Dun & Bradstreet and you signed up for whatever you signed up for? Did you put the mailbox address in the line? So here's a quick example. Man, we're short on time. Here's a quick example. Your iPostal address or your virtual address is 123 Main Street. That's the address. Suite 300, box 2002, or number 2002, or PMB 2002. That's your address. Did you put the box number in your IRS filing? And did you put the box number in your state filing? Did you put the box number? Because that box is an automatic indicator that this is not a business address. This is just a mailbox. That's a gem. So you take that one thing out. When you file, you only put the suite number in your filing, so that now that at least protects it a little bit more from looking like this is just a mailbox. That's a big gem, Brandy. Now, am I saying that that's the only thing, right? But if you are going to use address, you need to make sure of those three things: the CMRA, does it look like an office building? And did you not put the box number into your address filing? Now, what happens when you receive mail at iPostal One and your box number is not on there? How they're going to know it's you? They have your business name, right? So when you you just put Suite 300 and you got that at your business address, they're going to know it's you, and they're still going to get the information to you in all the cases that I've seen in my experience. But what it does is it opens up on your business filing, on when you go for the bank accounts, when you go for all that other stuff. Now it shows up as this is just Suite 300. Now it looks more like, okay, this is just a regular business. These little things make a difference. But you might be able to use that home address strategy to be able to maximize anyway. All right. So gratitude. Is the home address bad? Home address is not bad. Home address will get you the max funding. There's only two things about home address, like we talked about, is your privacy, right? And if you leverage that properly, then you can protect that by saying, okay, I have a business, client facing entity, right, to deal with privacy. Or later down the road, if you want to get the big funding and things like that, I'm ready to show tax returns and I got proof of income and I'm trying to go for the big stuff later, then sometimes a home address, sometimes it looks like, okay, this is not a big business because it's a home address, right? However, if we're talking about small business funding, and if you could use 100,000 or 150,000 or 110 or 80,000 towards your business, then that is not an issue. So that's why I say the home address can be a powerful approach if we do it that way. But the best thing to do is go to fundingmyfuture.net, book a call with the team, right? So you can get the best steps laid out for you. Say, what's the next step for me? What's the best way to do this according to the current situation? Because this stuff changes every day, you guys. The government's changing. There's different laws that are changing. There's different strategies. The economy changes. And every one of those changes, the banks might shift how they do things. So the information that you saw online 6 months ago, or the YouTube video that you watched from 8 months ago, that might be completely different now as far as which banks and how they do things. I've seen it firsthand. So again, that's why I say that if you get this free consultation with the team, that's going to be the best thing for you. So book a call or text me at 240-240-642. Right? You can text me. All right. So here we go. That was a big gem. I hope that was helpful for you, Brandy. All right. So you need to make sure. And again, you wouldn't know unless you know. Like, I got an address, I'm gonna put the whole address. Don't put the whole address, but just put the suite number. That's a gem. All right. So we got the name, got the business address. Now we need to make our business look solid. You need a business phone number, a dedicated business line. You're gonna have to pay for this. Right. So this is either ring.com, Grasshopper. You can use a Call 8. There's these different services you can use to get a dedicated business line. If you can get toll free, 1-800 number, great. If you got a local number, that can work too. but it's something separate from just from your cell phone. Next, a business website and domain-based email address. The website doesn't have to be crazy. A landing page that's simple, that's got your business name, business logo. You can get all this stuff created for you on Fiverr, to fiverr.com. You can get it created for you tonight in the next couple hours for $20. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? Gratitude says you use Zoho free. All right, cool. If you test that out and you're good, and you can get funding with that, then great, right? Dove Hill, home address in the website. It could be if this website is dedicated for the banks. Now you don't have to worry about it if that's how your business is set up, right? Again, this is part of the consultation process. We can let you know, hey, this is the best way to go about it, right? But it could be home address in there, or you just have your business email, you know what I mean, your contact information. Make sure as much information is there and it's consistent across the board, so that anywhere that they find this is the number 3 point, is the information, whatever information you put needs to be exactly the same across the board. No variation, no extra periods, no abbreviations for suite or street name or road instead of RD. It needs to be exactly the same, because anytime it's different, it's going to look like a different business in the eyes of the banks. All right, I got to wrap up, family. I can't believe it. We made it. we got to get ready for school and all that stuff. But this was a great time. I hope you guys got value from this, right? These are literally the two things. Oh, so the website, you need a domain-based email address, no Gmail, no Yahoo. So put your .com, yourbusiness.com, info@yourbusiness.com, or whatever the case, whatever domain you chose. Don't use Gmail and Yahoo. We got to look legit as possible. The banks get comfortable with that. Next is your online business presence. So you need to, do you show up on Google? Add your information to Yelp, put it on Bing, get some reviews, a couple reviews from people. Just make it as robust as possible. And then you can add yourself to 411, the national 411 listing. So you go to listyourself.net. Listyourself.net is the last thing I'm going to put, last little gem I'm going to share. Listyourself.net. When you put that in and you add your information, right, and you can show up, you can either do the free one or you can do the paid one that's national. Put your information and you show up on the national 411 registry, right, or the local 411 registry, depending on your approach. Right, you do those things, and now your business looks as presentable as possible on paper. Now you got the max possible chances of funding and approvals. There you go. The personal credit profile, the business entity structure. When you marry those two things, you are sitting on, in the next 30 days, you are sitting on 100K, sitting on 150K, sitting on 80K, right? And you can rinse and repeat this every 6 months, right? 3 to 6 months. And if you're really, really going hard, there's other avenues we can take to be able to do it in between that. But the question is, how can you leverage $100,000, $120,000 to be able to make more? And to answer this question, if I gave you $80,000 in cash, could you give me back $100,000 in the next 6 months or in the next 30 days? What would you do to do that? You can use as much of it or as little as you want. You just got to bring back 100K. If you know that answer, then you need to be moving forward on this. All right. So again, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Matt, we got to tap in to talk about lenders, right? Because that's going to be a part of your sequence. It's hard to tell you, right? Because what state are you in? What banks do you currently have relationships with? You know what I mean? Like there's so many factors on that you could learn. But if you're tapped in with the team, fundingmyfuture.net, and you book a free call and you're tapped in with the team, then we can tell you, okay, these are the exact lenders we're going to use. There's a lot of the big banks. There might be some credit unions, some sleepers, you know what I mean? But we're going to be able to say, okay, this is the whole map out for you to go to. All right. And that's what we just walk you through step by step. All right. Again, for the last time, I will say, I believe in abundance. I hope you guys will share this information with somebody that you know. You could be making money off of it right now if you refer people that are in need of this. Like I said, right now, you could be leveraging this as a credit partner. If you got somebody, what's up, Troy? If you got somebody that's a credit partner, you can leverage that. Or you can take action on this now. Like I said, I believe in abundance, and I do believe that everybody can win. And for that reason, if you didn't hear it before, I am donating a portion of my profits from all of this to go towards a fund that's going to help young entrepreneurs to get into business, to get into, financial literacy, to get into education, to get into wealth creation, to change the generational wealth landscape. All right. And I hope that whatever you do in your business, whatever you're doing, I would hope that it's adding value to the world, because that's what business is. You're solving problems and you're adding value, and the money is just a byproduct of that. So the more problems you solve, right, the more value that you add in the world, and the more people you can add it to, the more money that you can get back. It's a beautiful system. And this is one of the fastest ways to be able to leverage funds. Omar, thanks for the follow. To be able to leverage funds that are not yours, right, at 0% interest, that you can access very quickly, to be able to leverage those to fast track your way into mentorship, to fast track your way into solutions, fast track your way into advertisement, whatever it is that you're going to need to push things forward quickly. That's what this is for. Again, so I'm out of time. I got to go pick up a baby girl. Got to get got to get it to school and get this day going. But I appreciate you guys spending this time with me. Rosemary Justice, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you spending this time. Text me. If you send me a text, I will get back to you soon. I'll check the chat here, but again, please text me 240-240-642. If you want to know about the affiliate, if you want to know about getting funded or getting help with your credit, the website is fundingmyfuture.net. Fundingmyfuture.net. Yeah, Sweet Tea, thanks for the follow. All right, fundingmyfuture.net. And you're just it takes 60 seconds to fill out the little form. You're going to get a call. You're going to get your next step. You're either going to meet with a credit advisor that's going to talk about your credit and what needs to happen, with your credit, either adding stuff, removing stuff, or your credit is solid. We're going to be talking about what's going to take to get you funded as soon as possible. Right? That's the best thing I can say. All right. Much love, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time around. And peace.